Did you know ASBN, America's Small Business Network, is now available on your TV? That's right. ASBN is now streaming on Roku, Apple TV, and Fire Stick, and available for download in the App Store. Scan the QR code to download the ASBN app today. Thanks for joining us for another edition of The Small Business Show with Jim Fitzpatrick, exclusively on ASBN.com.
Hey everyone, Jim Fitzpatrick. Thanks so much for watching another edition of the Small Business Show exclusively on ASBN.com and now streaming on Roku, Fire TV, and Apple TV. Joining us now is Twyla Verhelst, who's a CPA and Head of FreshBooks Accounting. Thank you so much for joining us on the show today, Twyla.
Thanks for having me, Jim. Pleased to be here.
Can you briefly explain how AI is transforming the field of accounting and why it's important for entrepreneurs and small businesses?
Yeah, certainly, Jim, we're seeing that AI is the future. That's the known. And in terms of accounting and how it fits into the accounting sphere, we're really starting to see accountants embrace AI to build different practices and change the way that they work with clients. And what I mean by that is, of course, AI is very good at doing some of the more mundane, repetitive tasks of accounting. And accountants are starting to really utilize that and leverage the technology in order to work more efficiently, work more collaboratively, and to really dig into the needs of a business owner with the financial information, interpreting it and helping the business owners really grow and thrive in their businesses.
Sure. Many entrepreneurs might be hesitant about adopting AI in their financial process. How can they ease these concerns?
Yeah, I mean, that concern is very real, and I think it's something that the concern is valid and it shouldn't be taken lightly, that we should stone into this because, of course, AI is very powerful, and it can be then providing us with information or processes or automations that really don't work well for us, or in turn give us information that isn't accurate. And so, I think it's important to step into it, ease into it, start to embrace it in elements of a business or an accounting cycle that aren't as impactful on the rest of the flow, or isn't the spot where it's generating a tax return or filing something with the IRS, and it's this ease into it. And you can start to really double check what AI and automations are producing. You're about to know, if you ease into it gently, yeah, this looks right. This seems to be accurate. This is what I expected to see, before you're like, okay, let's automate the entire workflow, let it spit out the other end and take what it's giving us to be true and accurate, which may or may not be the case. Automation's only as good as the data that it's served up, and it takes time to learn, and it takes time to really recognize the patterns, and then in turn, then interpreting it is needs to come to the other side. But making sure the data is accurate is key.
Sure. I guess it's safe to assume that the people at the IRS they're definitely using AI right now in their processes as well, right?
Well, I would think that the IRS is also approaching this pretty cautiously as to what they're using AI for and what they're not, and then what they're accepting from AI versus not, and then what sort of interactions or integrations are available there is very limited from the source of the data over to the IRS, and so that'll still take time. And I think that the IRS, like we should be, it's going to be a process to really automate things and to have technology do more of this work. I think we've got time before that happens from a government standpoint.
Yeah. What are the first steps for entrepreneurs and accountants to implement AI-powered accounting tools?
Yeah, I think the first thing is to recognize where it fits into each specific business, because I don't think that there's one golden ticket, this is the tool, or this is the area that AI is going to give you the most power or leverage or efficiencies to be gained inside of a business or inside of an accounting firm. And so I do think that there's this recognizing, this opportunity to recognize what are the needs that we need filled, or where are there places where there's inefficiencies, or alternatively places where we're struggling to find the people to do that type of work. And so is there's a place in the business where it's hard to hire for that type of role. Can you automate there in order to have the rest of the operations inside of the business or inside of the accounting functions continue? And so, noticing what those places are that it's going to make sense, what those places are that aren't too risky to start, to get familiar, to begin those automations, and then build from there. I think it should be a stepping stone. It should be an ease in over time, but the places to start can vary from business to business depending on the needs.
Sure. What are some challenges that accountants might face when implementing AI?
Yeah, I mean, we talked a little bit about security. I think that's one place that we always have to watch. Accountants need to be mindful of that, and I think are doing their due diligence there. Another thing that they're watching for is that accuracy of data, right? It's especially if we're in if accountants are in a spot of they're needing to automate a particular piece of the process, and that's what they need in order to be able to provide the business owners with the services that they committed to. Then there could be this jump to conclusions in terms of, it's AI, it's technology, it must be accurate. Now, generally, accountants don't tend to lean that way. Accountants tend to, by profession, be a bit more hesitant and skeptical, and really want to make sure that numbers are true and accurate. But it's something that we need to watch, is that the technology is producing the accurate data. And then I think the next piece is then what we do with that technology as accountants, or what they're going to do inside of their firms. Leverage that to deepen relationships, leverage it to provide new insights, leverage it to help grow your firm or grow your clients' businesses with them, and really recognizing that it can be a tool to advance your services, not to kind of shell up your services inside of automations that eventually could be something that the business owner could find themselves doing on their own.
Okay. What is your vision for the future of AI in accounting?
Yeah, I really see, Jim, that AI should be used in this way, that it is a stepping stone and a foundation for us now to build from. I think we're in this spot of a new era of technology. We're seeing accountants embrace these automations and this next era of accounting. We've seen that 75% of accountants believe that it's going to change the profession over the next 5 years, which means how is it going to change it? And I think that way that we're going to see that is for them to lean into tech in order to still humanize their relationships with business owners in a way that they couldn't do before, because it took so many hours of people, data punching, analyzing in order to complete the necessary work to get tax returns filed or financial reports run. And instead, that's more efficient. So it frees them up to do another layer of work for even the smallest of business owners who didn't have access to this expertise before because it was very expensive or wasn't efficient to have. So leveraging it, building off of it as a foundation, and really leaning into the professional expertise and human side of being an accounting professional is where I think that the profession is going to go next with this new wave of technology.
Sure. And much like it will do to so many other industries, it will really incorporate a lot of efficiencies in a very, very big way, right? I mean, which should equate to a savings on accounting costs, right?
Yeah, or a different service or expertise that you get for the same dollars, right? I mean, if business owners are spending money on accounting and tax filing, what are they getting for that today? Because the technology is only so efficient. Yeah. Versus what are they going to get in the future for that same dollar? And that's where I think it's not necessarily just about cost savings. It can be about getting access to this expertise. I mean, I grew up in a very entrepreneurial home, and I saw my mom as a small business owner not having access to this accounting expertise day over day, day in, day out, or month over month. Right. We saw our tax accountant once a year and didn't have real-time support. And I think that that's part of the key of businesses really thriving. Make data-backed real-time decisions about how to run your business, or how to, grow your business, or how to have cost savings inside of your business.
That's right.
That's the things that I think is going to make a big, big difference to the businesses at large, or, the small businesses at large, that I think can change the way accounting works inside of that relationship. Sure. and the technology enabling that.
Sure. And this is one of those areas that entrepreneurs will get into trouble if it's not monitored, if they're not on top of it, is in taxes, in keeping the books straight. I mean, I know that it can be a very daunting task for somebody that is not an accountant. However, they do own a business, and it is their responsibility to keep these things straight. But it's a very daunting task. I know from my own experience in starting businesses, and that you turn around and you say, wow, it's been 6 or 8 months, and you just got to go back and now kind of set these books up and get it right and stay on top of it. And if you've got an accountant, sometimes you realize down the road that maybe they don't even know the necessary things they need to know. So anything like AI that can help in the area of accounting is going to be very vital moving forward, right?
Yeah, absolutely. And I appreciate that you've got your own experience with that, because, you're certainly not alone as being a business owner who doesn't feel like they've got the information in order to make decisions, because they haven't kept it up, or they're kind of using a back of the envelope type formula to determine, do I have enough? Will I have enough in the future, et cetera? And interesting that you're sharing that in terms of accountants that also sometimes don't have what they need in order to support those real-time decisions. Yeah. And it's been a big day for us here at FreshBooks, because just yesterday we launched a methodology called collaborative accounting, leveraging technology, as in FreshBooks, as being a platform that business owners and accountants can collaborate inside of, so that business owners have a tool that's accessible to them, very intuitive for them to use, so that they don't get behind, like you just mentioned, and that they are on top of that front end of the workflow, especially around invoicing and time tracking and expense management. So that then at any given point, whether it's on a regular cadence or ad hoc, an accountant that they're working with can then go into the exact same system, single platform, pick up where they left off and say, I see where you're at here. I see that, mid-month, your expenses are here, your revenue's here, your margin's here. This is or isn't what we were expecting. Here's what we should look at. Yeah. Here's what we can change so that you can grow or change margins or expand your business.
That's right.
And do that in real time inside the platform. So we just launched that initiative yesterday. It's called Collaborative Accounting, and really designed to fundamentally change the way accountants and business owners work together to the advantage of the business owner.
That's great. That's great. We'll show the information here for business owners and entrepreneurs that want to learn more about that. Twyla Verhelst, CPA, head of FreshBooks Accountant Channel. Thank you so much for joining us here. We appreciate it very much. We appreciate the input that you've given us and the insights that you've shared with our audience of entrepreneurs that are somewhat nervous when you talk about accounting and taxes and what has to go into it. And many of my friends that have started companies will share with me that early on when they started, that's the area that really they got tangled up in, was not staying on top of the accounting, and certainly the taxes. You don't want that phone call coming in saying, hey, you haven't paid in the last 3 quarters, and we need a big, huge check that you didn't set up for. So, Twyla, thank you so much for joining us. Hopefully we can have you back on to do touch some other areas of accounting.
Great. Sounds great, Jim. Great. Thanks so much for having me.
Thanks for joining us for another edition of The Small Business Show with Jim Fitzpatrick, exclusively on ASBN.com.